Hey, what's up everyone, it's your girl Brain Shanae, and today I'll be sharing with you part 4 of my anticipated reads of 2022, so please stay tuned. And I am back, and also if you're new to my channel, welcome. So like I said, this is going to be my part 4 of my anticipated reads of 2022, and this is going to be the final video of my anticipated reads, just to let y'all know. I know like I'm coming heavy with the anticipated reads of next year, but I can't help it. There's so many great titles and so many great books and book covers that are coming out next year, so I'm just hyped for it. But let's go ahead and get started with the first book, and that is Xyla and Kai. This is by Christina Forrest, and this book comes out on June the 4th of 2022. And let's just take a moment of this cover. Like, it is beautiful. I love the purple in the background. I also love the two characters that we have there, which of course has to be Xyla and Kai. But let me go ahead and read the synopsis for this one. So it says, a fresh new YA romance novel by Christina Forrest, Xyla and Kai is an epic star-crossed love story about first love and not just the will they, won't they, but why can't they? It says, while on a school trip to the Poconos Mountains in the middle of a storm, high school seniors Xyla Matthews and Kai Johnson run away together, leaving their friends and family confused. As far as everyone knows, Xyla and Kai have been broken up for months, and honestly, their breakup hadn't surprised anyone. Xyla and Kai met while working together at an amusement park the previous summer, and they couldn't have been more different. Xyla was a cynic about love. She'd witnessed the dissolution of her parents' marriage early in life, and it left an indelible impression. Her only aim was graduating and going to fashion school abroad until she met Kai. Kai was a serial monogamist and a hopeless romantic. He put a temporary pause on his dating life before senior year to focus on school and getting into his dream HBCU until he met Xyla. Alternating between the past and present, we see the love story unfold from Xyla and Kai's perspectives. How they first became the unlikeliest of friends over the summer, how they fell in love during the school year, and why they ultimately broke up, or did they? Romantic, heart-stirring, and a little mysterious, Xyla and Kai will keep readers guessing until the last chapter. So this sounds really interesting. We're thinking it's a love story, but it seemed like it's a love story that's about to cause some havoc and chaos. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. And like I said, this comes out on June the 4th of next year. So if you haven't pre-ordered it, or if it's on your list, definitely add it, because I think it's going to be really amazing. Now this next book, it comes out on February the 1st, and that is And We Rise. It's the civil rights movement in poems, which I this year I fell in love reading poetry, and I would continue on doing that in 2022. And I love the cover, by the way. It definitely is very giving me some empowerment vibes. So for this book, this is by Erica Martin, and it says, a powerful, impactful, eye-opening journey that explores through the civil rights movement in the 1950s through the 1960s America in spare and evocative verse with historical photos interspersed throughout. It says, in stunning verse and vivid use of white space, Erica Martin's debut poetry collection walks readers through the civil rights movement from the well-documented events that shaped the nation's treatment of Black people, beginning with the separate but equal ruling, and introduces lesser-known figures and moments that were just as crucial to the movement and our nation's centuries-long fight for justice and equality. A poignant, powerful, all too timely collection that is both a vital history lesson and much-needed conversation starter in our modern world, complete with historic photographs, author's notes, chronology of events, research, and sources. So this definitely sounds really interesting. I definitely want to see the people that are included in these poems that we don't know about, that but still had an impact on the civil rights movement. I definitely am excited for this. Never heard of Erica Martin, so this is her debut, and I think it's going to be amazing. But this comes out on February the 1st, so if you want to get in touch and get into your poetry vibes going, I think this definitely would be a good book for that. But yeah, I definitely can't wait to read this. Now this next book also comes out in February, but it's going to be coming out on February the 15th, and that is Even When Your Voice Shakes, and this is by Ruby Goko. This cover is really what got me. I definitely would know it's going to be a cover buy for me, but let me read the synopsis, because I think it'll definitely be more than just a cover buy after reading this. So it says, when Amari is offered a job working for one of her mother's old school friends, She knows she has to accept. Her wages will feed her family, help her sisters stay in school, and ensure that her mother won't have to worry about them. Amari's move to Accra isn't easy, but she soon settles into her new life away from her small village content warnings, until she is raped by the son of her employer. Torn between keeping quiet to keep her job and speaking up for herself and for justice, Amari must decide how to live her truth, and the impact of her choice will be felt through her entire community. Through the life of an ordinary girl from a small country village, Even When Your Voice Shakes exposes the damage wrought by institutionalized misogyny and poverty, and reveals how even those who are most disadvantaged are never without their own power. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a deep book. I definitely will read this, because it's definitely a book that should be read, especially when it talks about misogyny and institutionalized misogyny and poverty, and also in the small country villages. I definitely think this will be an impactful book to read. I definitely know it's definitely going to have me crying, and like I said, it has content warnings of rape in this, so I understand if you do not want to read this. I get that, but I know I will read this. This definitely sounds like a story that I definitely want to read, and also talk to you about it after I've read it. But this book comes out, like I said, on February 15th, if you do want to check it out and if you want to read it. But yeah, this book, I can tell, is definitely going to be really hard. It's going to hit hard on certain things, especially misogyny and rape. And also in the workplace. So I definitely am going to appreciate this book, and I'm definitely going to read this. So yeah, so we have this book. Now this next book, I recently read the first book by her that I read, and that was A Spindle Splintered. This is going to be the next book for the Fractured Fables. So this is going to be book 2, and that is Amir Mendel, and I do love the cover. And A Spindle Splintered was a Sleeping Beauty retelling, so I wonder what this one's going to be about. But this comes out on June the 14th. And so for the synopsis of, and just to let you know, this is by Alexi Harrow, if you did not know that. But the synopsis, it says, Amir Mendel is the next installment in USA Today bestselling author Alexi Harrow's Fractured Fables series. Xenia Gray, professional fairy tale fixer and lapsed Sleeping Beauty, is over rescuing snoring princesses. Once you've rescued a dozen damsels and burned 50 spindles, once you've gotten drunk with 20 good fairies and made out with one too many members of the royal family, you start to wish some of these girls would just get a grip and try solving their own narrative issues. Just when Xenia is beginning to think she can't handle one more princess, she glances into a mirror and sees another face looking back at her. The shockingly gorgeous face of evil, asking for her help. Because there's more than one person trapped in a story they didn't choose. Snow White's evil queen has found out how her story ends, and she's desperate for a better ending. She wants Xenia to help her before it's too late for everyone. Will Xenia accept the queen's poisonous request and save them both from the hot iron shoe that wait for them, or will she try another path? So this sounds really good. It talks about Sleeping Beauty, but it goes down into Snow White's her mother, stepmother or whatever, and how her mother doesn't want the ending that she has witnessed, she has foreseen. So this definitely sounds really good. I think it's going to be like another novella. So I know like the Spindle Splintered, it was like a novella, it was like 100 pages. So this might be a novella as well. I know a lot of people that love novellas, so this might be a good one for you. And also Spindle Splintered, so you can read the first book and then read this one when it comes out on June the 14th. But this sounds really good, and I do look forward to reading this next year. So this next one sounds really interesting. I don't want to butcher the name. Here is the cover and everything, the title. I don't want to butcher the name because I feel like I'm going to say it wrong. But this book comes out on April the 26th of next year. And the cover is what got me the most and definitely has me intrigued on what it's about. So it says, Patel's mesmerizing debut shines a brilliant light on the vilified queen from the Ramayana. This easily earns its place on shelves alongside Madeline Miller's Circe. So it says, I was born on the full moon under a specious constellation, the holiest of positions. Much good it did me. So it says, so begins Kaki's story, the only daughter of the kingdom of Kakia. She is raised on tales about the might and benevolence of the gods, how they churn the vast ocean to obtain the nectar of immortality, how they vanquish evil and ensure the land of Ballot prospers, and how they offer powerful boons to the devout and the wise. Yet she watches her as her father unceremoniously banishes her mother, listens as her own worth is reduced to how great a marriage alliance she can secure. And when she calls upon the gods for help, they never seem to hear. Desperate for some measure of independence, she turns to the text she once read with her mother and discovers a magic that is hers alone. With this power, Kaki, I can't pronounce her name, I'm sorry, transforms herself from an overlooked princess into a warrior, diplomat, and most favored queen, determined to carve a better world for herself and the women around her. But as the evil from her childhood stories threatens the cosmic order, the path she has forged clashes with the destiny the gods have chosen for her family. And when Kaki must decide if resistance is worth the destruction it will wreak, and what legacy she intends to leave behind. It says, a stunning debut from a powerful new voice. It's a tale of fate, family, courage, and heartbreak of an extraordinary woman determined to leave her mark in a world where gods and men dictate the shape of things to come. So this sounds really interesting. I do apologize if I did not pronounce the word correctly and her name correctly, as well as the title. But I do appreciate this story, and I think it's going to be an amazing read for next year. Now, this book comes out on January the 18th, and I'm looking forward to reading this. This is definitely like high up there as my anticipated reads, and that is A Kata Woman by Nnedi Okorafor. As you can see, I read the first two books. We have A Kata Witch and A Kata Warrior. Now we have A Kata Woman, and the cover is stunning and it's gorgeous. And like I said, this comes out on January the 18th. But for the synopsis, it says, from the moment Sunny Nwazwi discovers she had magic flowing in her blood, she sought to understand and control her powers. Throughout her adventures in A Kata Witch and A Kata Warrior, she had to navigate the balance between nearly everything in her life, America and Nigeria, the normal world, and the one infused with juju, human and spirit, good daughter and powerful leopard person. Now, those hard lessons and abilities are put to the test in a quest so dangerous and fantastical. It would be madness to go, but deadly not to. With the help of her friends, Sunny embarks on a mission to find a precious object hidden deep in a magical realm. Defeating the guardians of the prize will take more from Sunny than she has to give, and triumph will mean she will be forever changed. So this sounds really good. I think this might be the final book of the A Kata Witch trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, or it might be a whole series. I'm not sure, but this is the third book, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. I definitely want to see what Sunny will be doing in this next book, because through the first book and the second book, she had many challenges that she needed to face, especially when it was controlling her powers. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Sunny again and to see what her adventure is going to be this time. Now, I cannot wait to read this book since I read the first book, and this is the second book of the Supernatural Investigations series, and this is Amari and the Great Game. I read Amari and the Night Brothers, and I really enjoyed that. It was amazing, so I definitely want to see what Amari has in store for the next one. And this is, of course, by B.B. Alston, if y'all did not know, but I'm sure y'all know. But I'm sure y'all know, because I know a lot of people that read it and loved it. But this book comes out on February the 1st. Now, I will say the dates that I'm saying that these books come out, they may change due to the shortage that is happening across the entire world. So I know a couple books have been pushed back that I had mentioned in my previous anticipated reads videos. So I do apologize for that, but there's nothing I can do about that if they do change it. But I'm sure, like a lot of authors, they've been saying on IG and Twitter that some of them have been changed, but they do give you the updated dates on when they'll be released. So hopefully this one doesn't get pushed back. But so for the synopsis for this one, it says, the sequel to the New York Times bestselling bestseller Amari and the Night Brothers, Artemis Fowl meets Men in Black in this magical second book in the New York Times and indie bestselling Supernatural Investigations trilogy. Perfect for fans of Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky, the Percy Jackson series, and Nevermore. After finding her brother and saving the entire supernatural world, Amari Peters is convinced her first full summer as a junior agent will be a breeze. But between the fearsome new head minister's strict anti-magician agenda, fierce junior agent rivalries, and her brother Quentin's curse steadily worsening, Amari's plate is full. So when the secretive League of Magicians offers her a chance to stand up for magician kind as its new leader, she declines. She's got enough to worry about. But her refusal allows someone else to step forward, a magician with dangerous plans for the League. This challenge sparks the start of the Great Game, a competition to decide who will become the Night Brothers' successor and determine the future of magician kind. The Great Game is both mysterious and deadly, but among the winner's magical rewards is Quentin's last hope, So how can Amari refuse? So Amari has some more challenges that she needs to face, which I think she will conquer and overcome. So I definitely cannot wait for this book to come out, but the cover is beautiful and I just love Amari. I just cannot wait to see what she has in store for us in the next one. Now this next one I think is going to show some Black love, and that is Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley. This comes out on June the 21st and I cannot wait to read this. So let me go ahead and read the synopsis for this one. So it says, a reality star and a cupcake baking football player pretends to be a couple in order to save his bakery in this sweet and sexy romance from Jamie Wesley, Fake It Till You Bake It. Jada Townsend Matthews is the most reviled woman in America after turning down a proposal on a reality dating show. When she comes home to lick her wounds, Jada finds herself working at San Diego's newest cupcake bakery, Sugar Blitz, alongside the uptight owner and professional football player Donovan Dell. When a reporter mistakenly believes Jada and Donovan are an item, they realize they can use the misunderstanding to their advantage to help the bakery and rehabilitate Jada's image. Faking a relationship should be simple, but sometimes love is the most unexpected ingredient. Fake It Till You Bake It is a sweet confection of a novel, the perfect story to curl up with and enjoy with a cupcake on the side. So this sounds really good, trying to know more about Jada and Donovan. I think their love story is definitely, it's going to be interesting. I love fake dating. That's one of my tropes that I do love, and I do love enemies to lovers as well, but fake dating is definitely up there. But I really think I will enjoy this. I cannot wait till this comes out. Hopefully the release date doesn't get pushed back, but if it does, oh well, I will still end up getting it once it releases. So we have this book that I just cannot wait to read. Now this next book I've seen over IG, all over IG and all over Twitter, and that is American Royalty. This is by Tracy Livesay, and I love the cover. First off, it's definitely going to be a cover buy, and this book is supposed to come out on June the 28th. So let me go ahead and read the synopsis for this one. So it says, in this dangerously sexy rom-com that evokes the real-life romance between Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan Markle, a prince who wants to live out of the spotlight falls for a daring American rapper who turns his life and the palace upside down. It says, sexy, driven rapper Danielle Duchess Nelson is on the verge of signing a deal that will make her one of the richest women in hip-hop. More importantly, it'll grant her control over her life, something she's craved for years. But an incident with a rising pop star has gone viral, unfairly putting her deal in jeopardy. Concerned about her image, she's instructed to work on generating some positive publicity, or else. A brilliant professor and reclusive royal, Prince Jameson, prefers life out of the spotlight, only leaving his ivory tower to attend weddings or funerals. But with the Queen's children involved in one scandal after another, and Parliament questioning the viability of the monarchy, the Queen is desperate. In a quest for good press, she puts Jameson in charge of a tribute concert in her late husband's honor. One out of his depth and resentful of being called to service, he takes the advice of a student. After all, what's more appropriate for a royal concert than a performer named Duchess? Too late. Jameson discovers the American rapper is popular, sexy, raunchy, and not what the Queen wanted. Although he's having an entirely different reaction, Danny knows this is the good exposure she needs to cement her deal, and it doesn't hurt that the royal running things is fine as hell. Thrown together, they give in to the explosive attraction flaring between them. But as the glare of the limelight intensifies and outside forces try to interfere, will the prince and duchess be a fairy tale romance for the ages, or a disaster of palpable proportions? So this sounds good. You have a prince and then you have a girl that's a rapper. So this is going to be really interesting. I definitely look forward to reading this. June 28th can't come anytime sooner. I'm not going to rush it because we still haven't gotten into the new year of 2022 yet. It's still 2021 in December. But yeah, definitely cannot wait to read this. And I just love this cover, by the way. It's gorgeous. I love it. Now this next book is a picture book, which I'll be reading to my son and my daughter. And that is Opali and What It Means to Be Free, the true story of the grandmother of Juneteenth. So this book, this is by Alice Faye Duncan and illustrated by Katora A. Bobo. And this comes out on January the 11th. So let me read the synopsis for this one. So it says, the true story of Black activist Opali and her vision of Juneteenth is a holiday for everyone. Everyone celebrates Black joy and inspires children to see their dreams blossom. Growing up in Texas, Opal knew the history of Juneteenth, but she soon discovered that many Americans had never heard of the holiday that represents the nation's creed of freedom for all. Every year, Opal looked forward to the Juneteenth picnic, a drumming, dancing, delicious party. She knew from Granddaddy Zach's stories that Juneteenth celebrated the day the freedom news of President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation finally sailed into Texas in 1865. Over 2 years after the president had declared it, but Opal didn't always see freedom in her Texas town. Then, one Juneteenth day, when Opal was 12 years old, an angry crowd burned down her brand new home. This wasn't freedom at all. She had to do something. Opal Lee spent the rest of her life speaking up for equality and unity. She became a teacher, a charity worker, and a community leader. At the age of 89, she walked from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. in an effort to gain national recognition for Juneteenth. Through the story of Opal Lee's determination and persistence, children ages 4 to 8 will learn. All people are created equal. The power of bravery and using your voice for change, the history of Juneteenth or Freedom Day and what it means today. No one is free unless everyone is free. Fighting for a dream is worth every difficulty. Featuring the illustration of New York Times bestselling illustrator Keturah A. Bobo, I Am Enough, Opal Lee and What It Means to Be Free celebrates the life and legacy of a modern-day Black leader while sharing a message of hope, unity, joy, and strength. This sounds really good. I definitely will be reading this to my children. I definitely think this is a book that should be read to your children, especially when it comes to the holiday for Juneteenth. So we have that, but we do have other issues that we're still facing today that need to be brought up and need to have a discussion with, and action needs to be taken. But I won't get into that. But yes, this book comes out on January the 11th, so definitely watch out for this book if you do want to read this for yourself, or if you have any nieces, nephews, or sons or daughters, or goddaughters or whatever, you can definitely get this book for them because I definitely think they will appreciate it. This next book is by Bethany C. Morrow, and it is Cherish Pharah. This book is going to be coming out on February the 8th, and so it says, 17-year-old Pharah Turner is one of the 2 Black girls in her country club community and the only one with Black parents. Her best friend, Cherish Whitman, adopted by a wealthy white family, is something Pharah likes to call WGS, white girl spoiled. With Brianne and Jerry Whitman as parents, Cherish is given the kind of adoration and coddling that even upper-class Black parents can't seem to afford, and it creates a dissonance in her best friend that Pharah can exploit. When her own family is unexpectedly confronted with foreclosure, the calculating Pharah is determined to reassert the control she's convinced she's always had over her life by staying with Cherish, the only person she loves, even when she hates her. A troubled Pharah manipulates her way further into the Whitman family, but the longer she stays, the more her own parents suggest that something is wrong in the Whitman house. She might trust them if they didn't think something was wrong with Pharah too. As strange things starts happening at the Whitman household, debilitating illnesses, upsetting fever dreams, and inexplicable tension with Cherish's hothead boyfriend, and a strange journal that seems to keep track of what is happening to Pharah, it's nothing she can't handle. But soon everything begins to unravel when the Whitmans invite Pharah closer, and it's anyone's guess who is really in control. Told in Pharah's chilling, unforgettable voice and weaving and searing commentary on race and class, this slow burn social horror will keep you on the edge of your seat until the last page. So this is a horror book. It comes out in February, but I might actually read it in October since it is horror. And I think this is Bethany C. Morrow's first horror book, so hopefully it turns out okay. I only read a couple books by her, but hopefully we'll see what happens. We'll see. But this book, like I said, comes out in February, but you can just wait until October to read that because, I mean, it's Halloween in October. You can read that. And then you got Black Weenathon, so maybe that'll be a prompt there. A book right there that you can use for that prompt. But I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. It sounds really good, so we'll see what happens. Now, this next book I cannot wait for. There is no cover yet. They still haven't done a cover reveal, but it is Beasts of Ruin by Ayana Gray. I cannot wait to read this. This will be coming out in July. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. I really am wanting to know what the cover is looking like. So when the reveal is, when they do a cover reveal, I'm definitely going to probably be stunned, because I know the first book, Beast of Prey, the cover was amazing. So I'm sure the second book will be amazing as well. And so it says, this is much anticipated follow-up to the New York Times bestselling Beast of Prey, Coffee's powers grow stronger and Ekon's secrets turn darker as they face the god of death. Coffee has saved her city and the boy she loves, but at a terrible price. Now a servant to the cunning god of death, she must use her newfound power to further his continental conquest, or risk the safety of her home and loved ones. As she reluctantly learns to survive amidst unexpected friends and foes, she will also have to choose between the life and love she once had, or the one she could have, if she truly embraces her dangerous gifts. Cast out from the only home he's ever known, Ekon is forced to strike new and unconventional alliances to find and rescue Coffee before it's too late. But as he gets closer to the realm of death each day, so too does he draw near to a terrible truth, one that could cost everything. Coffee and Ekon, separated by land, sea, and gods, will have to risk everything to reunite again. But the longer they've kept apart, the more each of their loyalties are tested. Soon, both may have to reckon with changing hearts and maybe changing destinies. So this sounds really good. We're following Ekon and Coffee again, and it seems like it gets really deeper, but they do confess that they do have a love for each other, so that's something. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this, and this sounds amazing. So I definitely will be keep my hopes up that this date, the release date, doesn't get pushed back. Now this next book also doesn't have a cover. They haven't done their cover reveal, but they reveal the title of this next book because I read the first book. And so this is the second book of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, and that is The Ballot of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I know, like, they said this book is going to be coming out in September 27th, but who knows, it might change or it might not. I cannot wait for the cover of this. I have the first book, and the cover was amazing, but it was also a Fair Loot exclusive, so we'll see what happens with this cover. It says, the fiercely anticipated sequel to the Sunday Times bestselling Once Upon a Broken Heart, starring Evangeline Fox and the Prince of Hearts on a new journey of magic, mystery, and heartbreak. So the story will continue on. Hopefully I will like this story a little bit better than the first, due to the fact that I gave the first book a 3 out of 5 stars. So maybe the second book will be a little bit better, but hopefully it will be, and I don't keep my hopes up. But yeah, this book is supposed to be coming out on September 27th of next year. So this next one I'm getting because it's Elizabeth Espedo, and that is Inheritance, a visual poem. It's Elizabeth Espedo, so I'm not going to not get this book. I love her writing. I love all the books that she has done, so I'm definitely going to continue on supporting her and her writing and her books. And this book is going to be coming out on May the 3rd of next year, unless it gets pushed back. But then we also have illustrations by Andrea Pippins. So we have that, and it says, they tell me to fix my hair. And by fix, they mean straighten. They mean whiten. But how do you fix this shipwrecked history of hair? And it says, in her most famous spoken word poem, author of the Purabelt winning novel In Verse, The Poet X, Elizabeth Espedo embraces all the complexities of black hair and Afro-Latinidad, the history, pain, pride, and powerful love of that inheritance. Paired with full color illustrations by artist Andrea Pippins in a format that will appeal to fans of Mahogany L. Brown's Black Girl Magic or Jason Reynolds' For Everyone, this poem can now be read in a vibrant package, making it the ideal gift, treasure, and inspiration for readers of any ages. Of any age. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. It's definitely a book, Inheritance of Vision, like a visual poem. So there are going to be probably some gorgeous illustrations of it. I definitely can't wait to read this. And I'll probably even read it to my children as well. But that is it. That is my part 4 of my anticipated reads of 2022. That is all the books that I'm anticipating. I know there's going to be some other books that are coming out. There's so many releases that are coming out that I cannot wait for. But that is it. I really hope you enjoyed all 4 videos of my anticipated reads. It's been a lot of books. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button, that bell, to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you so much for watching, you guys, and please stay healthy and stay safe, and I hope you have a great rest of the year as the new year is soon approaching. But like I said, thanks for watching, everybody, and please stay healthy and stay safe. See ya.